Find out what's going on. Get involved. Change things from the inside. Make a difference. Take pride. Multicultural at its best. The Luisa Marshall Show. Coming up.
Today, all news simply the best. Get involved. Making awareness during the crisis. On the show, a special interview with Vancouver-Kensington NDP MLA Mable Elmore. Raising awareness in the community in light of COVID-19 crisis. She was first elected as a member of the Legislative Assembly in the 2009 provincial election, re-elected in 2013 and 2017. She has also served as Parliamentary Secretary for Poverty Reduction. Today, Mable advocates for social distancing and wearing a mask during this uncertain time, while raising important awareness on scams and frauds affecting mostly Filipino seniors, cyberbullying of a Filipino hotel worker, and advocating for the welfare of temporary foreign workers.
And so recognizing the importance of these workers and respecting their rights, there's a call for the Canadian.
All these coming up. Hello, hello, hello. Hope everybody is well and healthy. Today, we are Zooming MLA Mable Elmore to discuss the issues going on in the community during this crisis. Hi, Mable.
Hi, Luisa.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's unprecedented times with the COVID-19 pandemic. Everything's virtual, so it's nice to see you and connect with you on screen. How are you and the family doing?
We're just crazy doing so many things like cooking, gardening.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been cooking?
I have been doing more cooking, yes. Doing more cooking, trying more recipes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What is your favorite food that you have experimented on during this crisis?
I've been actually baking and trying some baking. So pineapple upside down cake. That's a big favorite. And also trying out some muffin recipes.
Ooh. Well, Mable, I know you've been busy during this crazy time, and it's good to see you. I'm just wondering about the Filipino community right now, whom you are very, very much attached to. You have been an advocate for the safety and welfare of the temporary foreign workers. How are they doing during this crisis?
Thanks for the question, Luisa. We know with this unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic, folks in the community across British Columbia and Canada have really been responding to this crisis. And we're really seeing, Canadians are seeing the vital role that these essential workers play in the front lines, if it's in healthcare, taking care of seniors, serving us food in grocery lines, doing essential cleaning. We're recognizing the value of that. And Luisa, I've learned as well that many of these workers are migrant workers, temporary foreign workers, and some of them, have not been able to access supports that are needed. And so that's my office has supported, making sure that all workers are safe in their work site, and also supporting the campaign and the call, Luisa, for all undocumented workers to have an open work permit and to apply for permanent residency. Luisa, you may be shocked to hear, but there are an estimated up to 500,000 undocumented workers in Canada, which is really a shocking number. And so recognizing the importance of these workers and respecting their rights, there's a call for the Canadian government to grant amnesty and to ensure that they are brought out of the shadows and that they can, work with an open work permit and have the opportunity to apply for permanent residency. So that's the campaign that's underway, Luisa. And there's a good example in Toronto The government has a pilot project. They are regularizing, I think it's about close to 1,000 undocumented workers in the construction industry. And so they are going to bring those workers out of the shadows, give them open work permits, and have them, allow the opportunity to apply for permanent residency. So we're saying this is a good model, and we need to ensure that workers, that their rights are protected. And we know that so many are vulnerable, and so many of them are taken advantage of because they, for one reason or another, have had their work permits or their immigration status lapsed. So we're saying now is the time to really ensure that workers do not continue to be, taken advantage of, exploited, and that they should have equal rights as all workers in Canada. So that's a campaign that I'm supporting, and I think would be a positive step for us here in Canada.
That's wonderful. A CBC town hall on the COVID interview of a Filipino hotel worker regarding her disappointment of the CERB money offered by the federal government became viral when members of the Filipino community attacked her. That results into cyberbullying. Mable, you defended her actions about speaking out, about her concerns. What do you say to all those who attacked her?
I saw this interview. CBC asked a representative from Local 40, which is the union that represents hotel workers. So CBC asked for someone to speak out and share their perspective of hotel workers. You know that COVID-19 has impacted everybody, but the hospitality sector has really been impacted. Flights are canceled. And so the hotel sector have about 90% people unemployed. And so she was, the union asked her to speak on behalf, not just herself, but on all hotel workers. And so I saw her interview. I thought it was a very strong interview. And, she was able to pose a question to our finance minister, Minister Morneau, which was very, it's very positive. I always encourage, Luisa, me, I encourage people to speak out, to share their experiences. We know we need to hear more people speak out. So I think, unfortunately, her interview, there was some misunderstanding. And for what, different reasons, people really, there was a lot of backlash against her personally. And so my message to the community is, let's have some respect. Let's show kindness in this pandemic, and let's engage, respectfully in person and also online. And so there is never an excuse for, on the one hand, Luisa, we're seeing a lot of anti-Asian racist attacks born mainly by the Chinese community, but I hear many instances of folks in the Filipino community impacted. And so Canadians are, a strong call to stand against these anti-Asian attacks. And I join them. I ask the community to join me to stand up as Canadians against these anti-Asian racist attacks, and also against cyberbullying. So whether these attacks are happening on the streets, Luisa, in grocery stores or in public transit, that's unacceptable. And it's also unacceptable for this type of very nasty behavior online. So Luisa, it's also, cyberbullying is against the law. And I know that there's also the possibility of, looking into violations of the law. So it's a serious issue. And I think we need to elevate our discourse. The community needs to, bring a higher level of expectation, and we need to respect each other more. So that's my message, Luisa. And I was very pleased to join the Philippine ambassador to Canada, Ambassador Garcia, and Consul General Maya in Austria, the Consul General for BC, and my office. The three of us signed a letter in the context of COVID, thanking the community for their role, of course, expressing sympathies for those who have lost their lives, and recognizing the we're coming up to Philippine Independence Day, the celebrations of Philippine Heritage Month, and asking all members in the community to take a stand against anti-racism and against anti-Asian bullying online and offline. So I think it's an opportunity as well, Luisa, to send a positive message and also encourage everybody to elevate their practice and to show more respect and understanding amongst ourselves here in Canada.
We'll be back. Don't go away.
Right now, I know you're making awareness. I seen it on your Facebook, on your social media, that there are scammers targeting Filipino seniors.
Yes.
And they're using their names, their personal information to complete the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, which is a CERB application. Then later on, charge them a cash payment of $800. Is that for real?
Yes.
$800?
Yes.
So what's the update on this?
Well, I was also shocked. I was in my office. I received calls that seniors had been approached by someone offering to help them apply for benefits. And this person was asking for the seniors, all their personal information, their name, social insurance number, bank account information, date of birth, all of it. This person was applying online for the CERB benefits. And because the federal government was not denying any applications, they were all going through. And if seniors have not worked in the past year and earned at least $5,000, so if seniors were retired, then they're actually not eligible for those benefits. And this person, once they got the money, was charging them 10%, several $100s. And apparently a lot of seniors were misled. So we went and talked to the seniors and alerted them, also it was the Columbus building. So we also alerted the management, and then we were advised, we notified the Vancouver Police Department, and they advised us to also make it public and to warn seniors, never give out their personal banking, social insurance number, never give out that information. And my message also was to the community, to the children of, their parents, check in on your parents, right? Touch base with them. Make sure that they're not going to fall victim, because it was the kids of some of these seniors who had called me and asked me about this and alerted me to this. So I was very concerned, and it appears to have, we got calls from across Vancouver and Surrey, and it was specific to the Filipino community. The Filipino seniors were being targeted. And so, Luisa, I was very angry to hear that, right? Our seniors, they're trusting, and, they shouldn't be taken advantage of. So our message was this was unacceptable, and we need to put a stop to that.
Well, I know why they're targeting Filipinos, because Filipinos are so kind. They're forgiving and very resilient. And I think you and I both know that we are all. Because even before the COVID-19, over the years, there have been a series of, scams and frauds happening in the Filipino community and involving, some Filipino media. But still, people are so forgiving. I mean, that's just how it is. And however, we hope that there would be apologies or accountability coming on soon with this case going on. Did we find out who's doing this?
The police were looking. We don't know if the name is their actual name. So the police have opened an investigation, and they told me that if they were able to find the person and somebody can give a statement, that charges could be laid. Luisa, it is fraud. It is an act of fraud to knowingly apply for benefits that they are not entitled to. So that is concern. It's the seniors were misled, But that's one issue. The other issue that is ongoing and which will actually be a detriment for the seniors going forward, we're continuing to work with them and support them. They have given out all their personal information, right? They have given out their social insurance number, their bank account, their birth date. And so there's a problem now of identity fraud. You know how easy it is to apply for, that's all you need to apply online for credit cards, right? And so this is an ongoing problem and issue. So just like you mentioned, there are many other problems, scams that have happened in the community. So we're continuing to raise awareness on this. I think we always need to talk about it. We need to bring it into the open, and we need to, educate and raise awareness in our community. So when I learned of this scam, I also reached out and I contacted members of the community, of different seniors organizations, to explain to them. I asked them, be proactive, reach out to their members, and let them know and inform them. So I think that, Luisa, our approach is specific against the seniors, but it's ongoing, it's long term. We want to raise awareness so that people don't continue to be victimized.
Exactly. Thank you for that, Mable. Thank you so much. We are on phase 2. So Mable, second week now on phase 2 on reopening our economy. In your opinion, is Canada or our province, British Columbia, ready anytime soon for phase 3?
If we look at British Columbia, we're doing well compared to the country and even around the world, right? We're seeing, we have been able to flatten the curve, and we're seeing less new cases every day. Of course, unfortunately, we still see people who are dying, which is very tragic. But, I think, Luisa, we've really seen British Columbians answer the call, listen to Dr. Bonnie Henry and our Health Minister, Adrian Dix, practice physical distancing, wash our hands and really take those measures. So I think this is a collective, the community coming together, British Columbia coming together. And we're monitoring the situation very closely, Luisa. We know that closing, the economy and really shutting down the economy has had a big impact on so many people. And it was so tough. We know that. And but we have to balance public health measures. And so we have a plan, a restart plan, BC phase 2, open up more, retail's opening up, restaurants are opening up. We're asking all businesses to continue to practice these measures, and we're going to assess, go through in the summer. If we, continue to have good results, we'll look at a phase 3, and tentatively with, in the fall, the return to school for kindergarten, grade 12, post-secondary, and in particular, we need to look at some of the industries that have been hard hit. So we've been talking with the film and TV industry about domestic production. So, that is all part of the plan we have to get our economy up and running. Businesses have been so hard hit, and we're going to continue to keep a very close eye and make sure that the health and well-being, continues to be protected.
This will be the first year in my many years as a Filipino Canadian that there would be no Philippine Independence Day festivals in June. So I'm sure that this is a big break for me and for you, Mable, especially for you. Do you have any message to the Filipino community during this crisis?
I do. I want to thank the frontline workers, the essential workers, who've really played a big role helping all of us get through this COVID-19 pandemic, and recognize their sacrifice and the important role they play. I want to thank the community for really responding to the health measures and really listening to the directions of our provincial health officer, but also really for supporting each other. We have great initiatives, Luisa, of Sammy Jo Rambao and other organizations, delivering packages to seniors, supporting them, to Lion, which is a Filipinx diaspora organization. They've been actively involved. So we've seen a response of people wanting to help and serve the community. I think that is also inspiring. Philippine Heritage Month, June, is upon us next week. The province of British Columbia will proclaim June as Filipino Heritage Month. Luisa, we're not able to gather together, but the Consul General is hosting a virtual meeting, a Zoom meeting. And so I will, through Zoom, just like I'm talking to you, I will present the proclamation from the BC government. And I know that there's going to be programming as well, online programming, virtual programming to mark Philippine Independence Day and Philippine Heritage Month. And so my message is, I continue to encourage everyone in the community. It's difficult, it's tough, it's so stressful. Reach out if you need help to my office or to others. There are resources we can try and help and support. I can assure everybody we will get through this. Luisa, I know it's difficult, but we will get through it together. And, as we mark Philippine Independence Day on June 12th, and, every day in June, Filipino Heritage Month, I reflect back on the Filipino heroes who established our nation: Jose Rizal, Andres Bonifacio, Gabriela Silang, and, really take inspiration from their spirits and, the struggle from which the nation of the Philippines were born, and, connecting with us here, celebrating that culture and heritage here in Canada. So I'm inspired by that, and I'm, inspired by the community. I know working together, we will get through this, Luisa.
Will there be any Canada Day celebration at all? What are we expecting, Mable?
Good question, Luisa. Now look, we have a maximum of 50 people. Gatherings cannot be larger than 50. So I expect that will continue for the next while anyways. And we're pushing up against Canada Day. So we are, the trend is really, virtual celebrations and getting together in small groups. So we are not going to see, a Canada Day parade. That's out of the picture. We're not going to see big events, certainly this summer. So we are going to have to mark Canada Day, in our hearts and in small groups and virtually online.
This will be my last question to you, because this is really bothering me so much, whether to wear a mask or not to wear a mask. And at first they said, a mask does not help. And then all of a sudden, no, you have to wear a mask. And so now we're all scrambling on wearing masks, and some people are still, they don't care. They don't want to wear a mask. So what do you say about this?
Yes, Luisa, and this is part of the challenge. It's a new virus. We get new information every day, and it's changing every day. So it's tough to keep up. Now we're learning, and we're learning not only in British Columbia, from around the world. So I think that's really positive. And what we know is that, and we hear it from Dr. Theresa Tam, the Canadian health officer, and also from Dr. Bonnie Henry, the advice that, number one, the most important measure to protect your health and others is the physical distancing. So maintaining 6 feet apart, number one. And number two, if you feel sick, don't go out, right? And keep your distance from people. Do not gather in large groups, and wash your hands regularly. So Luisa, these are the main measures that are going to, protect your health. Now the recommendation around wearing masks, these are the recommendation is to wear it where you can't, where it's difficult to physical distance, where it's difficult to keep that 6 feet. So they say that it's not as contagious outside, right? Because of the air and the fresh air. And so, but if you go inside, for example, shopping in grocery stores, even though we do try and maintain physical distancing, that, for example, could be a time to wear a mask, right? in those circumstances and situations where we can't maintain that 6 feet. That's my message as well, to encourage people, practice the physical distancing. And just like you said, Luisa, sometimes we have to remind people, right? Or, so that's always an ongoing challenge. And in those circumstances where it's difficult, you're close, you can't keep 6 feet, those are the times to consider wearing a mask.
That's true. Thank you so much. Now I'm really enlightened about the masks. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
And thanks for you. I know you're so active. You play such a vital role, helping to communicate and get the message out to the community. So thank you for your tireless advocacy and the important role you play in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mable. Simply the best.
Thanks, Luisa.
Welcome to Relive the Music, a brand new one-of-a-kind show that takes the audience through music history, trivia, and memories of the 50s and 60s.
Thank you, Mable. Please continue to observe the COVID-19 requirements and guidelines. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Please don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Always be kind. Let's stop bullies and the coronavirus. Wash your hands. Stay home. Stay safe. See you next week. Bye-bye.